Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Welcome to the Mama's Den.
Chill.
How y'all doing?
Good. Hanging.
Good.
Ashley's.
I'm just
Doing a
realizing that I
dance?
should have put some more edge control on, but I'm good.
Oh man, I have some too.
I do too, sitting right in my purse.
Okay, I want to hear about your weekends.
Really? I don't want to.
Chilling. This rain has had me feeling like I need to stay in the house. So I've just been in the house, just been chilling with the
Same.
kids.
Chill.
It stopped raining. You weren't like in the streets, or was it raining?
No, I'm telling you,
We
it's just
tired,
kept me-
girl.
It's kept me in the house. I've been tired.
Now you have like rain PTSD, so it's sunny. You can go outside now.
Kind of.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
Y'all lucky I came here.
You know?
I'm in hibernation mode these days. guys.
No, it's the winter. I feel like humans
Yes.
should hibernate in the winter. I'm definitely down with that.
It's a spiritual thing.
I agree.
Yes.
You plant your seeds. You let them grow. We don't need to be outside all the time. It's
I've been in the
important.
house a lot, so I was in the streets.
Yeah, you were traveling.
I was
in the
in the.
streets.
I went 2 places in one night. Y'all don't even know about all that.
Oh.
I sent you guys the picture of the '70s photo from the baby shower.
Yeah.
And then we were there for 1 hour, and then we went to Kev on stage, and that chick Angel had a live show downtown.
Oh, wow.
that's dope.
And it was funny. Oh, it was so good.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
proud of
happy
them.
for them.
Their shows have been
Yeah.
selling out. That is so dope. I love seeing them win.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
amazing.
And they're hilarious.
They
Yeah,
are.
they are.
Good
For
people
real.
too. Good
Yeah,
people.
it was a good time. And I had a wardrobe change.
Oh, cute. Okay.
Where did you wardrobe change?
You have
In the
wait,
car.
In the car.
What's happening?
Like a real G.
Felicia's confused. What's happening?
No. I was sorry. That nothing.
What?
No, I was thinking about my weekend, and I was like, wait, my weekend reminds me of what we're talking about
Oh.
today.
What them children do?
But when you guys texted me, we were supposed to jump on a group phone call at
Yeah.
some point this weekend.
Yes.
And I was like, I can't do it. I'm disciplining my 9-year-olds right now. But it was a conversation about privilege and her not.
get it.
Yeah, it was a grounding thing. So, anyways, that's what my weekend was about. So I was
Well,
like,
do you wanna share?
I'll let you start.
Well, I mean, look, I've been reading all this stuff about like the Stanley Cups or whatever, which sounds it's not a hockey thing.
Hockey?
It's
Stanley-
also a
it
cup?
is.
Okay, I'm not
Resident
crazy.
Canadian.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that what
Stanley
that
Cup
is?
is the ultimate prize
Yeah.
of the NHL.
Wow.
So that's why I keep getting confused. But there's like a physical cup. Like obviously,
yeah.
I'm not in the loop, but there's like a cup. Like the kids.
Wait,
know
I'm
Like a
that.
water
sorry.
bottle.
Did you think when people were talking about the Stanley Cup, they were talking about
I
Canada?
knew it was an actual cup you can buy at the store.
Girl.
But the fact that it's called that when you say it out loud to
Yeah.
me, it's weird.
I've
Well, that's because you're fake Canadian, so you
'cause I'm fake
immediately
Canadian.
think of Canadian
This is all
things.
about.
It's
It's
all
about
about-
Canada.
Chia
Stanley.
said that. He was listening to her voice, and I was like, "What? Where is she Canadian or Melanie?" I was like, "Listen, it's a thing."
It's a thing. I am Canadian. But that said, these cups, right? I saw the like viral video months ago. It was like a grown woman whose like car caught on fire, but her Stanley Cup was
Oh,
intact.
yeah.
But now it's a thing with teenagers that like
Yes.
if you don't have a Stanley Cup, you're not cool at school.
So
That's crazy.
this is now trickled down to the teenagers.
I don't know when
I
it
thought
started.
I thought it was the moms like
No,
club
there
thing.
is a whole article on thecut.com that discusses like what is happening with middle school girls and being bullied and how it's like a lot of peer pressure and if you don't have a Stanley Cup and it's really deep.
crazy.
You know what's crazy? My mom has had a Stanley Cup since the beginning of time because she has like the thermos and she's been hiking. So she was like, she teaches at a school. She said she was walking down the hallway and the kids were like, "Oh my God, Miss Laura, you have a Stanley Cup?" She was like, "I have had this thermos for like 200 years because they're like really good. They really are really good quality cups.
obviously,
They're
yeah,
very
for 200
durable."
years.
But it is interesting because initially we're like, "Oh my God, that's so dumb. It's a cup." But do you guys not remember Hydro Flask? When Amira was the same age,
I
it was
don't
the
know what that
same
is.
thing. Somebody did a meme. They were like being all the different cups that were popular. And now they're like, "Oh, now it's you, Stanley. At some point you'll get put on the shelf with the rest of us." But Hydro Flask was a thing. When Amira was in middle school, oh my God, it was like if you didn't have a Hydro Flask, it was like a whole big thing. So I just feel like, but you guys, this was with the same thing when we were kids. It was Jordans. It was, there's always something.
Ours was definitely the shoe.
Oh,
it was like
girl,
a shoe
people
moment.
were getting killed where I
Yeah.
lived over Jordans.
I remember when we were growing up, it was definitely a shoe thing.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a lot of money. And so my brother, we didn't wear the same shoe size at all. But my brother would wear my shoes to make himself look cooler. Like, oh, I got these new shoes. And I think back to that, like, dang, we were really getting bullied because and the crazy thing is everybody was broke. I'm
Yes.
like, all of us are
Yes.
broke. So why are y'all just picking on us? Like, what is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But do you all feel like pressured to purchase your children these things. Like for you all, your children are a little bit younger, but my daughter is in high school. So I feel like I'm dealing with it more now.
Yeah.
You will be dealing with it soon. But well, I mean, middle school is coming up, you know, like for Peace, right? She's about to be in middle school.
So Peace it's interesting. She's at this space where I have to really teach her how money works and really helping her understand financial literacy now at 9, because she really just feels like money grows on trees and we just go and go get it in the morning.
Yeah.
So this weekend I had an episode with her, but it had been happening over time where she just feels like if I say no, you can't have this thing, it's the end of the world, but it's coming from a space of privilege.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I ask myself, is this our fault?
Of course.
You know? And how do we mold it to where we're kind of like guiding her on what that looks like? So she wanted to go to the mall with one of her girlfriends. And, you know, there's like a parent there, so it's not like drop off, right? So, but she had her Christmas money, so it's like $80, and then she also has these gift cards.
Okay.
And
She loaded.
girl, that's what I said.
I was like, dang.
So she comes in the room and she's like, Mom, can I have money for the mall? And I was like, well, Peace, you have money in your wallet and you have gift cards to all the stores that you like to go to. She comes back and forth with the attitude. And Peace, for some reason, thinks that just because she doesn't use her words, that we can't read her body language.
Oh, girl.
And I'm like, sis, I can see it on your face that you are ungrateful and you feel like it's not enough. So she
ungrateful
comes
face.
into my room like 3 times. And finally I said, how about we're not doing this at all? Turns into this whole entire episode. The night before was an episode because she didn't get the boba flavor she wanted. And it just this whole thing. And I was like, it's giving privilege. I was like, and then I had to break down. I was like, do you know that there's kids and people being bombed right now?
They don't
and
care.
they're being, I'm like, it's a whole thing. She cared. That girl was stressed out.
I mean,
she was absolutely stressed.
Yes, they care, but you know what I mean? They're not thinking of that
Yeah.
when they're thinking of their boba flavor.
Absolutely not. Yeah. But I was telling her, I'm like, so I canceled all the plans and I was like, oh, this makes me really look within myself as a mom, as a parent, talking to their father as well. I was like, how do we pivot from this space? So really going in and teaching financial literacy. So I told her, I was like, let's come up with the actual chore list. You will get $15 a week. You will do all of these things. If you want to go and spend money, then that you go spend your money. And she was just like, oh, okay, I get it now. So it's
got it right away.
I think she's becoming aware. We went
Yeah.
to Sephora with her gift card. We get to the front and she was like, no, I don't want to spend that much. And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
you get it now. I was like, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. I was like, you want to know
Yeah.
how you can make some money by doing what you need to do.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like she's getting older.
Yeah.
I'm scared for the high school part for sure.
Listen, I tell you guys all the time. I feel like it was season 1 or something, and I feel like I told you all, I was like, listen to me.
Girl.
Let them daddies tell them no. Let them discipline
say it
them.
all the time.
I say it all the time because I just see where I went wrong as a mother with Amira. Like it is so hard to retract. It is just easier to be mean a little bit than be nice.
Yeah.
Because I realized a long time ago, but it was just too late. Like just going into Target, and every time we go into Target and she just asks for anything, something small. I'm like, sure, why not? Like, she's a good kid. She gets good grades. She's
Yeah.
always been so advanced and smart and 3-4 grades ahead of herself. So I'm like, why? If I have money, she was my only child,
Yeah.
you know? I never told her no because there was no reason to tell her no. My mom told me no because we didn't have the money. It wasn't because I was a bad kid or she didn't want me to have it. We couldn't afford it. So I'm in my head, I'm like, sure, I'll tell her yes. Like, you want this little Barbie, you want this little whatever. But that over time develops in their head as like they can have whatever they want. Money is endless. There's, you know what I mean? There's no earning system to it. And I remember Tiffany was the person who taught me. She was like, Ashley, you need to make her earn that stuff. Like she makes her daughter earn everything, even Christmas gifts, even birthday gifts. She's like, you need to earn it. Did you get good grades? Did you work hard? Like those type of things. And that is like what I'm instilling in Amira. I've been correcting the behavior over like a course of 4 years. It's just really hard because when you don't teach your children early on, like that they have to earn things, they feel entitled to have it. Like, why wouldn't they?
I definitely feel like there's also influence at the school because I will say, I mean, obviously, I will say that the reason why I like to tell her yes is because she's such a good kid as well. But I also am that parent, and their dad is, I feel like, a little more stricter than me. We're very much like, no, you can't get that. Like, you know, it's not always yes, but when I heard about the other little girls, I was like, oh, you're being influenced. I was like, can you
Yeah.
just like go hang out with that crew over there? I'm like, don't go over there. That's a whole other episode, child. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like for me, mine, just because of the age, right now there's none of that. There's
Yeah.
no comparison. Every once in a while, Brooks will come home because he's older and talk about like somebody's house or somebody, something that someone has done. But there's really not like, so I want it too. He's just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
did you know this person has a mansion? I'm like, how you know that?
Wait, kids love
How you
mansions.
know?
They love the idea of
Everything's a
mansions.
They
mansion.
just like the word,
Yeah.
It's
Girl,
just-
and it'd be
it's a nice
like
word.
three bedroom
Right,
stairs.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So we
What
don't really,
about
I don't
Cam?
really deal with it a lot.
No, it's really
I'm
funny.
curious.
I'm the mean parent.
Yeah.
I'm the one. I'm the one.
How does he like? Because he's a boy, I also feel like that's another level of like the Jordans,
Yeah.
the cool.
So
Like,
Yeah.
no,
How's
so,
it show up?
so Cam is not really into those things as far as like what he expects. We keep him cool. Like,
yeah,
Girl.
I'm gonna buy him swaggy stuff because
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to be swaggy and I want him to be swaggy. He doesn't even know the difference. He wants to
Yeah.
wear a Sonic the Hedgehog t-shirt every day. He doesn't know. But where he feels entitled is in his privileges. I learned this about Cameron at a very young age. He's an incentivized child, and if you really want to make him earn or learn a lesson, is you have to take away whatever is his freedoms, whatever he thinks. And honestly, that's the way I was as a kid.
Yeah.
Like getting grounded was the absolute worst thing to me. Like I'll take a beating, like, but ground me, my whole life is over, you know, because I was a social kid. So Cam, we recently, very similarly, because we only had one child for 6 years, and we would go to Ralph's. Ralph's has the Hot Wheels section. My son was obsessed with Hot Wheels. If I could spend $1 on that car to keep him quiet in that cart, I was doing it.
Yeah.
Cameron has 5,000 Hot Wheels cars at this point in a box. And recently, we went through this season where, and I said it, like I literally cried as a mom because I had to get really tough with him. And I've said yes to Cameron for most of his life because you guys know Cam. He's the sweetest kid. He's a great kid. He's kind. He's respectful.
He is.
You know, but we're at this age now where earning and understanding responsibility is really the lesson here for me. And what happens is that I look around Cameron and I see that he has more than what he could want or ever need. And so one night, and I sent you guys this picture, we were talking about, I wasn't feeling well. I was under the weather. The baby was under the weather. Like my mom was there helping out. It was all these things. And Cameron was just like, there was no focus or awareness of his participation in what he needed to be responsible for. He's about to be 8. There is a level of responsibility I expect from my 8-year-old.
I
It's
agree.
not the world, but it's reasonable.
absolutely.
And so, it was just one thing after another. He complained about doing his homework. He was not being, helpful to my mom. Then when I came out of bed and I checked on him, he was in the shower for too long. And his room was disastrous. I mean, it was disastrous. And me in my unwell self turned into a version of my mother that I vividly remember being disciplined in the same way. And I grabbed everything in his room with the exception of his bedding and his books and his goldfish. And I put everything in garbage bags. Everything. There was no rhyme or reason. I threw it all in there. I was like, it was like a warpath. I
Like
saw red.
unhinged a little.
Yeah,
bit.
I snapped.
Yeah.
And Jared wasn't there. And I literally, as I started, I literally was like, I hate this. I hate what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I know I have to
you
follow
have
through.
to.
I
Yeah.
have to follow through. And I sent y'all the pictures of 6 garbage bags that have lived in his room since then. I went into my room and I cried. I cried tears. And my mom came in and my mom cried with me.
Not me.
And my mom said, do you know that when I used to do this to you guys as kids, she said, I would go in the room and cry after.
Yeah. yeah.
Did you know that?
I did not know that until
Because
this
we
time.
knew she used to do it.
Oh, she.
I didn't know she
And she
cried
stand
either.
10 toes down to say that she did it, but she totally. While I was crying, she was rubbing my back, and she was like, "I know." She's like, "I used to go in the room and do this to you guys. I used to cry." She said because it wasn't that you guys were bad kids, but I knew there was a moment that I had to teach you a lesson.
Yes.
Yeah.
My mom's philosophy when it comes to raising children is you don't have to spoil a child to love a child. And my mom always said that. She was like, no matter how hard you thought I was as you as kids, did you ever not feel loved?
Right.
And because I was like, I don't want Cameron to think that he's a bad kid and I'm being hard on him. But I knew it was like, this was a moment that was coming.
Yeah.
All the conversations that we had been having about like, hey, and then what happened was we started to see it in his marks. at school. And that was to me being like, this is not just you being a free thinking, aloof, little boy in the house that's thinking about video games all day. This is now me showing you that you need to understand and you need to show up as a responsible person in your life, and you need to be responsible for how you do in this life. I can't be there with you to make sure I can create the opportunities for you to learn well and have all the things, but you have to have responsibility for yourself. And so I took everything away, and we are now in a space of earning things back.
I love that.
The trash bag things?
The trash bags things. Like now he asked me, Mom, can I play with my Sonic toys? I said, yes, you can. You're going to put them right back in that bag when they're done. Like I will not let him put them back in his room. And some people are going to say that's harsh.
I don't think
I don't think so
Literally in the last, 3 weeks, Cameron has done homework every day without complaining. He has done his marks on his testings night and day. Like it's just, I see the benefit in the tough love. And so for me, now it's like the same thing. Like we went out to the grocery store the other day and they got Robex juice. And Mom, can I get Robex juice? No, we can go home and we can make a smoothie if you want to. And it's not because you didn't deserve a smoothie or whatever. It's just like, also, I'm not going to tell you yes every single time.
Yeah, so good.
And you're just going to understand. So when you get the yes, you revel in the experience of wow, gratitude.
Yes.
Like I appreciate what this is. And that's a moment that lives and he starts to savor it. Because I think it's like one of those things, we all do it. We all can easily take for granted the things that show up, good friendships, our partners, love, opportunities, whatever it is. But it's so important that that gratitude underneath is what is really the foundation of every human being on this earth.
So how do you know when to give him the stuff back, like fully? Right now, his stuff is in trash bags.
His stuff is in trash bags, and
it's a commitment for me.
Oh no, I'm committed. I'm committed.
like,
and the thing is that he's actually settled into it. He'll literally say certain things like something, because I'm grounded, and I'm like, and I was like, and then I'd say to him, I was like, oh really? I was like, are you grounded? I said, did you go to that birthday party on Saturday? I was like, because let me tell you, there's levels to this. I said, when Gaga was raising me, these trash bags would have been in the garbage truck. And they'd have been gone, and you'd never seen them again.
Parties.
I said, so understand that them being here right now, still in your presence, is still a present, okay? And we're gonna be real clear when we start to unpack these bags. Not everything is making the cut, and I've told him. And so what I love is now what I'm seeing and what he's seeing is what are the things that he goes into the bags for? Because there's an overflow of excessive toys from the grandparents and everybody who lives afar that sends a gift. And thank you so much. I'm gonna need $25 for an investment program for him now.
Yeah.
Period.
Don't send me no toys off of Amazon anymore.
Girl,
because
we've been on that.
what I realized is that's the thing. And my mom said it too. She was like, he's too distracted.
Girl.
He's got so many things
for sure.
that he wants to do and like think. I want to do this and I want to do that. Okay, but you're too distracted. We need to focus in and really be laser focused. So for me, it's when I feel like giving it back to him. His birthday's coming up. He's talking about, Mom, are we going to go? He's like, are we going to do something for my? I was like, well, let's see how you keep doing in school.
Girl, period.
Like, your birthday is a day. But we don't have to do anything for that.
Listen.
If you're not going to do your part as like growing up, like you got to do it.
I am on the discipline train right now, honey.
Yeah.
The
Same.
discipline train. Because I'm just seeing all of it the trickle down effect. And I am letting Chia lead the way because Chia is more like you. He's definitely going to say no first every single time. People are so surprised that he is actually the more mean. I don't like to use the word mean, but he's a more disciplined.
Yeah.
I heard him in the background the other day.
I told you.
I was like, oh, Chia,
Look at him go.
Listen,
I heard
I was
his little
always
voice.
like, maybe they should just come over your house to get to know Chia the way I know Chia. I was like, they don't know Chia the way we know Chia. Like, Chia is loving and kind, but he's very strict.
you
and
But
his daughter.
he's loving and kind to everybody. But when it comes to
It's his background too. Yeah.
yes, he was raised by an immigrant parent, like a single parent. You know, like he's not playing those games. Chia is very much about hard work, about earning things, about putting in the time. He's not about giving things to people just because they're cute. Like that's not
Very
even
Asian descent.
Yeah,
Too, I feel like mindset.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I just see
it.
like even with Azara, like you saying like them turning 8, I'm just noticing like, girl, you are too old to be falling out still. Like these little moments have got to stop. So like me just, I get it. She has such big feelings because I do. But even with her behavior, I'm like, having to discipline her more like, nope, you got to go to your room.
Yeah.
I've asked you twice to stop yelling. I've asked you twice to stop now you got to go to your room. And I hate it because she is just explosive a little bit. You know what I mean? A lot of it. And so I don't even want to deal I notice that a lot of times I don't do it because I don't want to deal with how they respond to the discipline.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's
100%.
really what it is you're trying to protect your peace, but that is not helping them. It's not helping them at all. So I just typically, I'm like, you got to go to your room. You have to sit there until I come and get you. You need to calm yourself down. The other day, I was like, why are you yelling so loud? She's like, I'm crying because you said calm myself down, and I got to cry to calm myself down. And I was like, well, you going to have to find another way to calm down.
Girl.
Because that ain't going to work, because that's too much. Now you stressing me out. Like, do it, cry in your pillow, girl. Like, you are disturbing the entire family. But it's just more so about, like, the no. Now that anything they ask me, I just be like, Chia, no. You dress her that? No. No. Even Amir, she's like, I want to have a party. I was like, you're turning 15. We can maybe do a sweet 16. I'm not throwing you a big party. No. I was like, figure out what you want to do. She's like, I'll go to the beach with my friends. Sounds good to me.
But my question, particularly for Ashley, but you guys might have an answer too, is, I mean, obviously we're talking about setting boundaries and teaching them privilege, right? But for the most part, these are all good kids. And, you know, if we lay the groundwork at 8, 9 years old, then, you know, they're even better at 14. So in particular for Ashley, and with Amir being such a good kid, like if there was something that she said, Mom, everybody at school has this cup. Can I please have this cup? Do you get it because you don't want her to be the odd man out?
No.
Like nothing?
No, that's a stupid reason to want something. And I would literally say that to her because she said that to me before. She's asked me for something. I was like, why do you want that? She's like, everybody else has it. I was like, that's dumb.
Girl, that ain't
That's
good
dumb.
enough.
Why do
gonna
you,
encourage you to do
that's
something 'cause
never a
everybody
reason
else
to
is doing
do
it.
anything in your life.
Suggesting you do, but
No,
if it's
but-
important to her, like you gonna get
It's
her a
not.
cup
Is it
anyway.
important to her, or is
I'm
it
not
because it's
saying that
popularity
cup,
contest?
Thank
but
you.
it's like if
Yeah,
you
no,
gonna
no, no.
get her a blue shirt anyway, and she says, "I want the blue shirt from 579." Is that still a thing?
No, but she
No.
but she attached it to other people. She
Yes.
was like, everybody
Yes.
else is doing it.
That's
but had
what
she
she already
said,
got.
Mom, I want
Automatic
the
now?
Stanley Cup,
That's
that's different.
But we already did
It
this
would
with
be
the
an
hydro
automatic now?
flask because she wanted one because all the girls in karate had the hydro flask and she had to have it, and I got it for a girl. She probably used that thing for 2 weeks.
Always, every
and that's
time.
why that's out for me all
Every
the time
time.
because even
But are
with-
you literally just getting a different water cup just cause?
that's what some parents are doing. I'm not doing that. After the hydro flask, I
No,
learned.
I mean a different one. Are you like on principle? I'm not buying you that.
Oh,
but you
that
need water.
specifically.
No,
so
like
here's
if she
something
needed
else.
but this is the thing. If she needed a water bottle, then I'm gonna get her a water bottle. And if she wants a water bottle that's the popular one, cool, whatever. Like
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But if you don't need a water bottle and you're asking
I
me to buy
understand
you a
that.
stupid water
Yes.
bottle because everybody has
Everybody
a
else,
water
yeah.
bottle, no.
Yeah.
Because I have to remind this 14-year-old to drink water every day anyway. So there's that. But on principle, in our home, we don't do nothing because nobody else is doing it. My kids
Yeah.
already know that's the first way to get a no out of me.
Yeah.
If you
No, I
start a
agree.
sentence.
I agree.
With everyone else's house.
Yeah,
no.
I'm like, you not everybody else, and I'm
No.
not everybody else's mama. How you
No.
like that?
Because she does that sometimes. She'll be like, "What? It's the privileges thing for her as a
Yeah.
teenager now. It's why can't I go to the movies with or walk to the other school? That's the biggest thing right now. She wants to walk to the other school. I don't know these kids, and I don't know their mama. And she's like, well, they get to. I don't care. They
I
don't
don't
love them. That's
care.
not my problem.
I love that's
No.
what that is my famous line to piece. I'm like, baby, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
about that. You are my child.
Yep.
We don't do that.
I tell her that every day. Like, I love you so
no.
much. I'm sorry if it seems mean, if it seems cruel, but the things that I'm doing are because I love you and I'm trying to protect you.
Period.
And everybody's family is not set up the same, and everybody doesn't have the luxury of driving their kid back and forth. And some of those kids have to walk.
Girl.
Yeah.
And I will pick them up and drive them with you, but you are not walking.
No.
The end.
I have a question about earning because Fee was saying, we're doing like earning and she has to earn. And how do you guys feel about allowances? How do you guys feel about encouraging your kids to get jobs? When my mom literally, first of all, I played every sport under the sun. And when I tell you, I can't tell you what shoes I used to wear, but I remember I always wanted the flyest Nikes, and my mom would be like, $200 for Nikes, you're 9. That's never happening.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
But you know, the back of the magazines was selling
Yeah.
me on them Nike Air Max. So I wanted them.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
eBay?
I
Was that
don't.
the
To be
magazine?
honest, when I think about the sneakers that I used to wear
East
growing up,
East Bay.
I don't actually recall ever having the flyest sneakers.
No.
Playing sports or like none of that was like really important. I had an older brother, so I think I took cues on what was cool for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Same.
And like I would take his hand-me-downs or whatever, but like I did not really kind of value that kind of stuff. But my mom made it very clear very early. She was like, you have wants and you have needs. I am your parent. I will provide your needs. Your wants, you're gonna need to go get a job.
Yeah, that's your
I
business.
did a paper route at 9. I was babysitting at 12. I was working in the mall at 14, and I worked a job all the way until today.
Yeah.
So Hey, oh Lord, I was tired. But but the thing is that it really did, like, all that fly stuff that I wanted growing up. Like, when I became into fashion and all the cool stuff, like, I could go buy it for myself.
Yeah.
So I wonder, are you guys gonna encourage your kids to get jobs, allowances? Like, how do you feel about that?
100%. I'm like, yeah, she has to get a job.
Yeah.
I feel the same as your mom. Is like you have needs and you have wants, but that's why with the allowance thing, I'm like, oh, the things that you are asking me for are your wants. These are not your needs. That's why I was like, if you want to make some money, then we can do chores.
Right.
And giving her that checklist, so every day, and it literally breaks it down. But also, I was gonna say when your daughter, when she's like dealing with the responses of them like screaming and stuff, and then we get all turned up, I started giving Zen a checklist. So in the morning, at nighttime, he has a checklist of like, okay, I wake up, I do this, because Zen didn't want to hear me telling him what to do.
Yeah.
That was triggering him. And I'm like, okay, whatever it is. Aquarius through and through.
Girl, you know,
Child,
they don't want to tell what to do,
he don't want to
baby.
be, and it's like, okay, but the thing is telling you what to do, whatever. But I told him this morning, because I got pieced this checklist, and I told her, I'm like, you can make $15 a week if you do this.
Okay.
And I told Zen, I said, hey, I'm doing this with your sister. If you want to make a little bit of money because you like toys and stuff too,
Yeah.
be my guest. You can do whatever you want. But I told him, I'm like, if you want to make a little bit of money, I'm like, you can do it. I'm like, why not him jump in and do it now? But when I
Yeah.
tell you that checklist, he got a little dry erase marker. Oh, mommy, hold on. I got to check my little thing.
yep.
And to
Yeah.
see him so excited about that, girl.
So I'm
It's self-reward.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's doing it and he feels rewarded by himself.
Yeah.
the only caveat to that is I don't believe in paying my children to do chores. So the chores are because we're a family and this is our home and we do this to maintain
care
our
of it,
home.
yeah.
But I do allow them to do extra things. Like if they have their chores, like I'm not paying you to wash the dishes, do none of that, because ain't nobody paying me to cook for you. So there's that. However, like when Amira watches her siblings, she is not a mom. So I always pay her because I'm like, these are not your children. It's not your job to watch them. It's your job to be their big sister. So when she babysits them, I pay her. And I also am encouraging her to do things like sell her artwork. And for me, I feel like I had a job at 14 as well. I had 3 jobs the whole time I was in high school. I'm very drained now. I want her to have the luxury of, if she wants to act, like she goes to acting classes and that stuff. So I'm like, that's what you want to do with your life. Like you're going to acting. I'm going to take you to auditions. That, like, I want her to focus her energy on that. I don't want her to work at the mall. She doesn't have to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If she's really focusing on her guitar and acting and getting good grades, great. And then you can make money other ways, like teaching her that or trying to make money through the things that she enjoys.
Yeah.
Versus me, I had to have a job in order to have clothes because wasn't nobody gonna buy them. So
Same,
that's
girl.
different. So it's more so like I think you do whatever you want and whatever's best for your home, but I'm more so into like, do your chores because this is a family, and then we'll pay you to do extra things. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you could find something extra for them to do.
Right.
I love everybody, but I have to go now.
All right, baby girl.
Mama Fee got a meeting.
Mama Fee got to go.
I get you this money.
Bye, Fee. Love you.
How do you feel, Cody, about the boys? Like, do you feel like chores is a thing? Do you feel like earning money is a thing? Like, how do you feel about it?
So frankly, we don't think about it a lot right now because they're just very young. As far as chores, I actually definitely will borrow from Ashley in terms of like, we will not be paying them to do things around the house. We do ask, Brooks' responsibility is to take out the trash and put the new bags in. He does the dishes on his own. Aristotle and Langston like sometimes help out with those things, but I completely agree. Like we will not be paying them to do that. And I will happily pay them to do things that like aren't necessary, right? But are helpful maybe in that regard. But right now, like I don't think about it at all. And I would say the interesting thing for us is that we will buy them almost anything educational. We will buy thousands of books and puzzles and things that like make their brains work. But even with that, there's still a point at which it's like, can you buy me this book? And it's like, hold on.
Right.
Now you asking.
Right.
It's a little different. So we definitely try to remind them, you know, that like even us buying all of these books is a privilege.
Yeah.
Like we especially with Brooks, we have to do that because he will see they'll look at the back of a book where there's like 10 more by the same author.
Oh, yeah, he needs
and
a
they're
whole
like, can you buy
collection.
me this one and this one and this one and this one and this one? I'm like, hold on, maybe I will, but you need to understand that costs money.
Right.
But yeah, they're real funny because they all have money. They all have money, and they actually asked for piggy banks. The ones that didn't have them, which is Aerosol and Langston, they asked for piggy banks for Christmas, and Auntie Shawn bought them piggy banks. And they have since taken one of them apart. Like they're more interested in the device,
Right.
So Aristotle's money is in a wipes box. He put all his money in the wipes
Hey, we
box.
used to put it under the mattress.
Because he took right.
As you
Because he
should.
took the piggy bank apart and now just kind of looks at it and puts other things in it. Anyway, so we're still working on the preservation of funds. But I do think it's important for them for us to instill the value of money.
Yeah.
And they have been and will more so be like using their money for things and not just watching it in the box.
How old are the twins again?
5.
Yeah, so this is like the perfect time to start
I
because
know,
and
yeah.
you guys are you and Tommy are so lucky because you have your own business. One of the things that Chia and I do with our business, like whenever my kids are I pay them at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I put
that's
money
true.
away. It's also tax write-off, but also because they're in my
You ain't got to
photos-
whisper school the peeps.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a tax write-off, so I put like $12,000 in their bank accounts. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But
yeah.
it's important because I also put them in my ads, so I calculate that. And when I'm asking people for money, when I do an ad, they want my kids in it. So I'm thinking like, okay, I have to pay them, you know?
Yeah.
But them understanding that. But when I was self-publishing my book, Amira would bag my books, label them. So
Yeah.
you can have the kids come here and be like, roll all these cords up and stick them in here. And then they get paid for that. So they
Yeah,
also
that's
understand
fair.
you and daddy are working, like what goes into your job. It's just also like correlation when you're away from them. They're like, oh, this is a real thing. Like we don't just go there and have fun. Like mommy and daddy work and it's hard and a lot of hard work goes into their job. So like have them come to the office with you one day and be like, all right, I need you to straighten my office up for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's lots of ways to help your children understand hard work and ethic and just earning money too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So basically, what we're saying is, y'all run this, parents. Okay, okay. You can either define how your children view money and privilege, or you can let the rest of the world dictate to them how they should be dealing with it. And I personally think every household is different. However, you've heard several different
Yep.
perspectives here. My personal philosophy is aligned with my mom. You don't have to spoil a child to love a child.
Amen.
Word. Okay, so I love that we're doing listener questions now. I'm very excited. Who is going to read this week's question?
I am.
Ashley.
Okay, so I have a question from Unanimous. It says
Unanimous?
unanimous.
Not anonymous?
No, it's unanimous.
Oh, Lord.
It says unanimous.
It says nothing.
Oh, girl,
I
good
meant to
night.
say unanimous. but I
Girl,
said unanimous.
good night.
Lord.
Good
I have
night.
more
What we gonna-
children.
what
I'm
we gonna
sorry.
do with
I
her?
messed up the words. Okay, I'm at unanimous. Anyway, it says, hey, mamas. I know you ladies have 11 children between the 4 of you.
Damn.
Did any of you actually plan your pregnancies?
Oh, Lord. Not
I'm
this
33
Morts.
years old. Oh, that's your Jesus here. And want children, but also trying to save money, find a mate. Oh, I'm going to read this differently. Hey, mamas.
Stop it,
Lord.
Ashley.
Oh,
that was
my.
not the time. It's not the time, Ashley. She's getting to that point where she's hungry and delirious. This is what happens.
Find a mate and still climb the corporate ladder.
Stop it. Are you
So is that Australian or
What are
British?
you? Yeah, we
Very
don't know.
confused.
I don't know. Would love to hear how you navigated
Oh,
the
God.
decision to become a mother.
Okay. It
That
sounded
lady's from
also
Louisiana.
it sounded also like she's single. She's
Wait,
career driven. Because she
Wait.
said I would like to find a mate.
I'm 33 years old and want children, but also, trying to save money, find a mate, and still climb the corporate ladder.
Oh my
Ashley. Good night.
There's lots of answers to this question.
Cody, you should
Wait,
answer
is there-
first because
is
she
there
said,
more?
she would love to hear how you navigated the decision to become a mom.
Yeah.
You start, girl.
Yes, I will. For a couple of reasons. One, I definitely planned my pregnancies.
Cute.
To the extent that one can do that. And two, I also have a close friend who is trying to decide how to have a child, right? She's single, she's very career driven. And so I've given my 2 cents on like, are you sure? But not, from the standpoint of, I'll go back. Okay. So I have always wanted to be a mom. And so like, as soon as we got married, I was like, let's go. Number one, because I wasn't sure like how long it would take.
Yeah.
Right. And birth control, once you're on it for a long time, you just never know. So for me, it was like, this must happen. I'm getting off birth control. Tommy, I don't care what you say. So he was aligned, don't worry. And so, we planned Brooks in that way, and it actually happened fairly quickly. I wanted to have a second, within 2 years, 3 years later, which we did, and it turned out to be 2 of them. But my advice to my friend is like, having a child is everything that people say it is in terms of time consuming, and you have to sacrifice a lot and compromise a lot. And it's also beautiful and wonderful. And you think about your legacy and you think about what you're passing on. All the things you've heard are true. And so if you're the more aware you are of it and choose to sign up for that, you will, in my mind, it will be okay.
Yeah.
It's going into it without that knowledge of you're like, this is going to solve my problems. This is going to fill the hole in my heart. It ain't going to do that. And so I am an advocate for, like, if you know that's what you want, go for it by any means necessary. Like literally find your boo and make it happen. Freeze your eggs and make it happen. Adopt and make it happen. But don't go into it without that, like, eyes wide open approach.
The reality of
so
it,
that's my 2 cents on this.
Did you plan your pregnancies?
None. Didn't plan any of them. Love my kids. Welcome them into the world. The only 2 times I've ever been pregnant in my whole life, and so they are meant to be here.
Yeah.
I always knew I wanted to be a mom as well. Yeah. So when I got pregnant with Cam, I was more terrified of the reality of what that would do to change my life, more so than, like, I was 32. So I was like, oh, I'm not young. So it's not like I'm worried about, oh, I'm too young to have a baby.
Yeah.
No, I had established my career. I was with somebody that I loved and was planning to spend the rest of my life with anyways. Okay, so now we're having a child together.
Yeah.
And definitely, I think what is important, though, is knowing what you kind of want it to look like. So like you said, if it's finding a mate, if it's freezing your eggs, like, what is the goal, I think, of motherhood? You know, some people want to be moms. They don't want a partner. Some people, you know, want to experience motherhood and just solely be in motherhood mode. And, like, I don't want to work. I want to be done with work and align my life to have the space to do that. So I think just knowing what it is. But at 33, like, the one thing that I would say is there's biology and there's science. Yes, of course. However, like, women are having babies at many different ages and stages of their lives through many different means.
Yeah.
And so the concept and the idea of motherhood is your own to choose. And I think that's the only thing I could impart is that for me, it was choosing. I always said I was one and done. And then here came along my daughter, Kaya, 6 years later.
Yeah.
I always thought that if we were going to have another child, it would be within like 3-4 years, maybe. So once we passed that, I thought, okay,
It's over.
God had other plans, you know? So would I change anything? Not a thing. Not a thing. Love my kids.
Yeah.
Of course, it's hard, just what you said, but my kids teach me a lot about myself, and they are a blessing and a success story of my life that I'm very proud to say that I have.
Yeah.
You know?
That's beautiful. I feel like one thing I would say is if you know for sure you want children, because some women are like, I definitely want children.
Right.
And if you can afford to freeze your eggs, I would say to freeze your eggs if that's a real possibility in your life, just because you don't know when you will meet the person. And then if you decide, I just know a couple women who met people later in their lives and they weren't able to have children because, you know, like biology, you know, like even at 40, some people can have kids, some people can't, you know, and you don't know, maybe they would have never been able to have children, but because they're just now starting now, they're going to think it's because of their age.
Right.
So I would just impart that, like, if you really, really are one of those women who are like, I want to have babies and you can afford to freeze your eggs, I would. Amira was not planned. Azara was, Asia was not planned, Atalia was. So it was like every other child that we planned. But I don't know. I just feel like I didn't want to be a mom. Then I always wanted to be a mom, if that makes sense. But I always thought I would be a mom later in life. I just knew that I was going to do ballet until I was like 35 and then become a journalist and then maybe have one kid and be super cute with my kid and match them all the time.
Walking around in Soho, New York.
Girl, yes, living in New York with my cute man and our little one baby and like be super ballet and like journalist.
The aunts.
Yes, honey, that was a dream. So, I mean, I would just say this. What I have learned from having children and some being planned and not planned is that whatever decision you make, because the children don't have to make it to the light. So if you decide to keep them and they make it here, I say just embrace it and create the life that you want to create. With Amira, she went everywhere with us. We were like, she going to the concerts, we're kicking it, she's traveling. And our children really are a part of our life.
Yeah.
Like we travel with them, we do whatever, we got to go on a work trip, we figure it out. And so if you have children, your world doesn't have to end however someone else is parenting. It does not have to be how your life is. Like, make your life be what you want it to be and find joy in that and create the type of mother, parent, whomever you want to be. Like, don't feel pressured by anybody else and what they're doing.
No.
Because the sacrifice is real. But if you know that's what you want, it will always outweigh.
It will always be worth it.
Yeah.
It will always, it just becomes a pivot as far as, you know, like the sacrifices. Okay, so I have to think about if I want to go out at night now.
Yeah.
I have to make allowances for that. But does that mean you have to stop going out at night? No. You just have to find somebody to watch your kids.
Yeah, for sure. No, you can live a balanced life.
Yep. So that's a wrap for today's show. If you have questions, send us an email at podcasts@blacklove.com, or you can always DM us at the Mama's Den Podcast on Instagram, and we will read them things, and we will read them on the show. So listen, though, we need y'all to help us out. Look at me in my eyes for those in the video viewing audience. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show. We need that, and we like the positive reinforcement. Positive responses only, correct?
Yeah. We don't want to hear
Keep your negativity in your home.
So yes, that is our ask for you.
And even now, more exciting, you can watch these videos on the Black Love YouTube page where you can see full episodes. And of course, you can find all the quick clips on our Instagram page at The Mama's Den Podcast. Holla at us.
Thank y'all.
Holla at a player when you see me in the street.
Oh my God, we did that. We did that.